Rishita Ashureta Khatoya Brachtaka Kulochon. Happy Assyrian New Year. This presentation is about personal names, of course, Assyrian personal names, and I tried my best to make it as simple as possible to reach the public, Assyrian public in particular, because I have noticed that there's a rising interest in naming Assyrian kids with pure Assyrian names or ancient Assyrian names. So I took this opportunity to talk to you about naming practices in ancient Assyria, then during the Christian era and modern era, how the names are used and developed and what they consist of. So the title is Assyrian Personal Names Through Ages. I'm combining ancient and modern, name-giving practices and name material. And I thought this theme will suit the name of this event, which is Renaissance. So we are talking about, especially about this area where the Assyrian were concentrated. It's southeast Turkey, northern Iraq, and western Iran, which we have a huge Assyrian population until the end of, or until the end of First World War. And unfortunately, because of the wars and persecution, Assyrians have been like fleeing these areas, and now some of us are here. So why Assyrians choose today to name their kids pure Assyrian names is actually a way of resistance against the persecution that they feel on daily life. That's why, because actually as indigenous people of Iraq, of Assyria actually, not Iraq, Assyria, which is now called Kurdistan, which is Asuristan or Assyria, because they are persecuted to the degree that they are denied their relationship with their ancestors. They try to say, your name is Athuri, Athuraya, has nothing to do with Ashuraya. So it's all political reason behind that. And as Assyrians feel really persecuted, that's why they try their best to hold to their traditions. And one thing among those is to use Assyrian personal names, ancient and modern. So our main source is for the ancient Assyrian names is cuneiform clay tablets. And I want to mention actually, this is very basic information for the esteemed scholars, guest scholars who are here. But for the layman, it might be something interesting for you. But it's very basic within the Assyriology. So the source of the names is cuneiform clay tablets in form of administrative and legal documents, letters, inscriptions, and literary compositions, list of specimen names. The Assyrians, scholars, kept lists of names for experimentation. And even the young students were learning writing through writing personal names to begin with. So many Assyrian kings are still more known to us in their biblical forms. Tiglath-Pileser, Shalmaneser, Sargon, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, in the same way as they are written in the Bible, although we know that their biblical forms are severely distorted as they are filled with orthographical errors. Even the Greek writers, rendered many ancient Assyrian names in corrupted form. Ashurbanipal's name was actually Ashurbanipali, which means Ashur is the creator of the air, but the name was distorted by ancient Greek writers to Sardanapal. Likewise, the Old Testament rendered the name as Napar, and against the description that you gave to Ashurbanipal, he was called the great and noble Aznapar, great and noble Ashurbanipal. That was his title in the contemporaneous texts. But you called him something else. Yeah, but he was called great, and this is in the Bible, in Ezra. Ezra 4, verse 10, the great and noble Aznapar. This is their perception of Ashurbanipal at that time, not as we interpret it today, as you did. We know now from the Assyrian cuneiform inscriptions that the king's name, Tiglath-Pileser, was actually pronounced Tukulti Apil Ishara. My trust is in the son of Ishara. Ishara was the temple of Ashur. Shalmaneser was pronounced Shulmanu Asharid. Salmanu is the foremost. Sargon was actually Sharokin, the righteous king. Sennacherib was pronounced Sin-Ache-Eriba. Sin has replaced the brothers. And Esarhaddon was pronounced Ashur-Acha-Iddina. Ashur has given a brother. And I point there, you see with a red, the G is written with red, and here we have two vowels. As a matter of fact, we have Sargon here, Dr. Sargon, we have Rabbi Ninos Nirari, we have Dr. Esagila Ramat, which use the ancient Assyrian names. Probably we have an Ashur here. But what I want to say here for Sargon, this Sargon is the version which is pronounced in Aramaic, but the name was Sharrukinu. Why it happens this way? Because when the K is between two vowels, K as a consonant, falls between two vowels, it will be pronounced as G, Ge, as Ge in Aramaic. That's why Sharrukinu became Sargon. Name-giving practices will continue. The ancient Assyrian writing system employed a series of determinatives, i.e. signs, that appear without themselves being read before or after certain words to indicate their specific class. Accordingly, the cuneiform personal names were usually preceded by the cuneiform sign this, which in Sumerians is munus. The masculine personal names, on the other hand, were using this sign. So when the name is feminine name, it's usually preceded by this sign to indicate now it will follow a personal name and its feminine name. But when it was a masculine name, it was preceded by this sign. And this sign actually also means number one, as a letter, as a number. The names were either written phonetically, i.e. with cuneiform signs expressing single sounds and syllables, or logographically, i.e. with cuneiform signs expressing ideas. Otherwise, the names were written with both syllables and logograms. Logograms are actually Sumerian symbols, writing symbols. We call them logogram or ideograms. So determinatives before female personal names, when we transliterate the name now into Latin alphabet, we put F and we raise it up before the name to indicate its feminine name. On the other hand, we use M to indicate the following is a masculine name. So, determinative before female is this one. But if we look at this sign per se, it has different sound values. It has the sound sal, shal, rag, rak, rak, mim, mam. Actually, mam number 2 because there's mam number 1 So for us, it's really hard to recognize all the sound values for each cuneiform sign. So you see, it's very complicated. But here, it's none of these. It's actually just referring that the following name is, the following is a feminine name. And it says, and it's not read, but we read this Sharat Ninua. This is also as a determinative which refers to backwards, that the word before me is a name of a city. So this is Sharat Ninua, which is the title of Ishtar, Queen of Nineveh. So determinants before male personal names, when we translate, we put M. We look at this name, for example, here. We have, for this one, where's the dish? Okay, we read this name anyway. Anaku, I am. Ashur Bane Apli, Shar Mat Ashur. Shar Kishati, Shar Mat Ashur. He says, I am Ashurbanipal, king of the universe, king of Assyria. So for the name of the king, we see this determinative which refers to the name that is masculine. And this is one way of writing the name of Ashurbanipal. This is the another way. They just use different cuneiform signs to express the name. So we look at the name here. We have the determinative, Anshar, because Anshar is the name of the ancient god, Sumerian god. But because they're giving this title to Ashurbanipal to give him a higher position, so it's actually read Anshar, but we read it Ashur. But we understand that it's Anshar. So this is another form of writing the name. That's how I explained it here for you. So when Assyriologists started digging and the artifacts came out, at the beginning when they tried to read the cuneiform signs, they were not always successful. So we see, for example, I want to show you difficulties of writing the cuneiform system. This name, we Assyrians today, we use the name Ninib, right? We have many Ninib and another version Ninib. But what happened, this name consists of two cuneiform signs. This one is Nin. This is, of course, Ib. It has many sounds. It has Ib, Ip, Eb, Ep. 4 sounds, 4 sound values just to this cuneiform sign. So at the beginning, they read the name Nin Ib. And it was published a lot about this name and other names, of course. So Assyrians in Iran picked up this name and gave it to their kids, Ninib. But then, now, Assyriologists know that just this cuneiform sign, which sounds like this, Ib, Ib, Eb, Eb, it was actually here in this name specifically read Urta. So the name is Ninorta, not Ninib. There's no name Ninib. The name is Ninorta, God's name. So they corrected, and I have here a correspondence between two Assyriologists about the advancement of the name. It says, I have left Mr. Smith's Ninib for the name of this deity, which is usually transcribed Adar, They also thought it's Adar, read Adar. At the present by Assyriologists. Ninip is certainly wrong, but the reading Adar is also more than doubtful. This is from 1890. So with time, we were able to read more correctly, not only names, other text too. So the name was given normally soon after the birth of the child. Some names were used for both genders, like it could be feminine or masculine. Even in English or other languages, we have some names are both singular, feminine and masculine. They were just, when we read them, they are just distinguished from each other by the determinative sign which precedes them. So we have this name, Banitu, which is used for both masculine and feminine, Banitu. And the queen of Assyria was called Banitu, wife of Shalmaneser V. And we have this name still used by Assyrians. We say Banita. There's a lot of Banita girls, Assyrians, not modern, in like more than 200 years ago, 150 years ago. They were Banita, which is actually Banitu. This is continuity. Then we have also a man from Nineveh acts as a witness for a woman, Nachtesharu, with the same name. So the same name can be masculine or feminine sometimes. The Assyrian names usually consisted of short phrases or sentences which provide us with a lot of information about the Assyrian society. When we explain the name, we can get a lot of information about daily life or their beliefs or things like that. Some names include theophoric elements, which are names of deities that were revered in Assyria. The most prominent gods were Ashur, Nabu, and Baal. Other frequent elements incorporated in Assyrian personal names were the expressions Nadanu, to give, Nasaru, as it's pronounced Nasaru, no Natsaru, Nasaru, to protect, and the word Sharu, king. These elements are usually used in the composition of the names. So we have here, we have also, sometimes the Assyrians use alternative names. We have, at times, it was necessary to assume a new name for the benefit of prestige. The Assyrian queen Naqiya, pure, which is assumed to be Aramaic word and name, in Arabic Naqi, who was probably Aramean, changed her Aramaic name to Assyrian Zakutu, pure. We say in modern Assyrian Zakaya. My name is Zak, is from Zakaya. Yeah. Zaku, Zakutu. Zaku for masculine, Zakutu feminine. Which is the Assyrianized version of the name when she became the queen of Sennacherib. Sometimes we have pragmatic names. Example of this kind of names is the throne name bearing a political message. When Sennacherib named his son Esarhaddon as heir apparent, he assigned him the more appropriate, though cumbersome, alternate name Ashur etil Ilani Mukkin Apli, which means Ashur, prince of the gods, is the one who established the heir. The name embodied the element of legitimacy, fitting for an heir to the throne, which his own name Ashur Akkadian clearly lacked. The king hardly used Assyrian. The king hardly used his new name when he became king. He preferred his given name, Ashur Akkadian. We have throne names. So Ashur Bani Pal's name, Ashur Bani Apli, Ashur is the creator of the heir, was most probably his throne name. Assyriologists think now that it was probably his throne name rather than his name by birth, and was perhaps bestowed upon him when nominated as the heir apparent to the throne of Assyria. It is not the kind of name, the name Ashurbanipal, that would have been given to a younger son. So probably his real name was something else, which is not powerful as this, as Ashurbanipal. So names also had restricted use. It was mentioned here before. Once a name was used by an Assyrian king, it was no longer suitable for use by other people. A Neo-Assyrian document from about 670 BC implied that giving the name of the former king Sennacherib to a commoner was considered a taboo and a sacrilege. The document includes proceedings against one man who intended to give his son the name Sennacherib, and another man who intended to give his son the name Ashurbanipal. Both of the accused men had already undergone the river ordeal and had admitted their guilt. So they were plunged into the river to prove if they were truthful or not. Then also we have the concept of eternity used in names. The goal of self-preservation was to prepare one's own existence in the world. The eternal becomes the fundamental element of the Assyrian world view. The Assyrian language employs the terms daru, to last. For example, Sharulu Dari, may the king be eternal. Dari Abua, or Abuya, my father is everlasting. Dari Ashur, which is Ashur is everlasting. Dari Bel, Bel is everlasting. Bel is God Marduk. In most cases, the Assyrian names express a fact. Example, Akhati Tabat, my sister is good. This is the name of a girl. Expressing a wish. Example, Akhatul Amur, may I see my sister or the sister. It forward a supplication, Ishtar Rimani, O Ishtar, have mercy on me. Or signify the relationship of the person to a divinity. Example, Nikkel Gimri, Nikkel is my totality. The names are either composed of a single word, example, Baniyu, the creator. Banitu was the feminine version. Or compound names making sentence or phrases consisting of 2 to 5 words. Example, Ashur Inaqati Sabat. This is a name of a person, Ashur Inaqati Sabat. O Ashur, take care of me. Literally, O Ashur, take into hand. So we have also this is the Libali Sharad, the queen of Ashurbanipal. If we go to the name categories, we see some names are made up of terms expressing thanks. Example, God gives the child. They are thanking the God for giving the birth of child possible for the family. God names the name of the child. This is what it means. Other names express favor or wish, such as ask for the blessing of the God, or asking for stability, rewards, success, and wealth, or wishes for the health of the child. So we have also another theme formed with the Assyrian toponyms, names of places. We have Arba'il, which is modern Erbil. By the way, the Kurds are trying their best to erase this name and change it to Hawler. This is Kurdification policy. So they tried to change the name of the airport from Erbil Airport to Hawler Airport, but I think it was the International Aviation Association which refused. Thank God. So Arbilayu, the one from Arbil, this is masculine name. Mannu ki Arbail, who is like Arbil? Or Urbil Khammu. Arbail is the master. The family name Ashuraya, we have family name Ashuraya, which refers to the city of Ashur, Assyrian. It's also based like on a toponym, Assyrian toponym. We have also Nineveh, actually, Nineveh, from Nineveh. Other names express wishes for longevity, wishes for divine protection, or wishes for physical production. Some names express a complaint. For example, a complaint call, a complaint sentence in form of a question or a negative statement, or a complaint in a wish form. There are other classes of names that are classified as greeting names and hypochorism. They use hypochorism too. There was also a practice of taking on an old name. Some names were meant to express replacement. That's to say, to consider a newborn child as a replacement or embodiment of a recently deceased family member. And we strongly used to use this tradition until recently. My uncle from my mom's side gave two of his kids name of their grandparents. This was in the 70s, 80s. The Assyrian language utilized the verb rabu to replace, taru to return, become again, pacharu to assemble, and shalamu to be intact, to express replacement through naming. And they have also namesakes. When two Assyrian scholars, we have an example actually, two Assyrian scholars, they were astrologers, named Asharidu, called themselves the elder, Makhru, or the younger, Qatnu. We have two Assyrian, at the same time, contemporaneous two Assyrian scholars with the name Asharidu, but when they write, they specifically mention Makhru or Qatnu to refer to the older one or the younger one. This was to solve the problem of the namesake, to separate who is who. So Asharidu is hyperchorism for example, Ashur Asharid. This is a short version of a phrase or a sentence. DN, which I put here, DN is divine name. You put it Ishtar or Ashur. We have also the name Samuramat. It's pronounced either Samuramat or Samuramat. Samu is exalted, or Samu is beloved. Different interpretations. Assyrian queen, wife of Shamshi Adad, mother of Adad Nirari III. In classical sources, the name signified a dove. In the language of Syria, i.e. Assyrian, it is probably derived from the Akkadian Summatu, female dove, pigeon, or Summu, male dove or pigeon, Samuramat. And the modern Assyrian version of this name is Shamiram. We use it a lot, Shamiram. Then we have names containing animal names or plants, fauna and flora. So Arbitu, we use the word Erbita, right? Still, but not as a name of an animal. So we have Arbitu, gazelle. Arnubu, we say Arnua, Arnua. Arabatu, dormouse. Arabu, feminine and masculine. Kalbaya or Kalbiaya, which means dog or servant of God Aya. Kalbaya. It's taboo to use this name for a person now. I guess you dare not call somebody Kalba. Or Burashu, juniper, which is used both as a feminine and masculine name, actually. Botuntu, we say the word botme, it's the same word, which is pistachio. Uqannabatu, hemp, flower seed. We have some names which designate occupation or river or a canal. For example, Tabihu, we still say tabacha, a butcher or a cook who's, So Tabihu, butcher, but it's a name of a title of or an occupation, but is also used as a personal name for a man. Puratayu, we call this river Purat. Deklet, Purat. We have the name for guys now, Deklet. We use Purat, Furat. So Puratayu was also, the name is taken from the name of the river. Ideklet, Tigris, Taban. The rivers are often named my mother, but Taban, a canal, east of Tigris, is father. But this actually is, I took this from the Babylonian personal names, part of it. Some of the compound names have as its first, second, and third element a divine name in form of a certain god's name. Example, Ashur, the national god of the Assyrians. Mulissu, consort of Ashur. Ishtar, goddess of war, or Gula, goddess of healing. Other names include the word Ilu, god, or temples name, for example, Ishara, temple of Ashur, or Esagil, the main sanctuary for Marduk in Babylon. So I just want to show you, from the personal name, we can extract a lot of information. For example, with the name Ashur, god Ashur, from the personal name of guys, of men, we can extract a lot of religious information from the name and their perspective of their gods and their everyday life practices. So we look at these names. By the way, at that time, nobody was allowed to be called Ashur as a single name. It should become a compound. The name Ashur is only reserved for the god, national god. So Ashur Asharit, Ashur is the foremost. Ashur Alikpani, Ashur is the leader. Ashur Balti Nishe, Ashur is the pride of the people. Ashur Bani, Ashur is the creator. If you look at the meaning of these names, there's a lot, the description of the god, it's found in Christianity when they describe Christian God. So for Assyrians, it wasn't something like totally different. Ashur Bel Ilani. Ashur is the lord of the gods. He is the supreme. Ashur Dalal. We use the word Dalule. Dalalu. Ashur Dalal. Ashur is my praise. Ashur Gabbu Ilai. Ashur is the omnipotent. Ashur Kenu, Ashur is the truth. We describe the God that we live in Christianity is truth. Ashur Ketura'im, Ashur loves the truth. And so on. Ashur Nadin, Ashur is the giver. Ashur is the shepherd. We use this in Christianity. Shepherd, giver, mercier, light. And also they used the name of Ashur in connection with referring to the country, to Mat Ashur, Assyria. So, for example, they say, this is kind of expressing their love, patriotism for Mat Ashur, for Assyria. Ashur matka da'in, O Ashur, strengthen your country, strengthen Assyria. They are praying for Assyria, for our forefathers. Ashur matka pachir, O Ashur, assemble your country, praying for their nation. Ashur matka tera, O Ashur, restore your country. Ashur matutaqin, O Ashur, keep the country in order. Ashur bani mati, Ashur is the creator of the land. Matulamur, it means let me see. It's like a wish. Let me see the land. These are names of men, of guys, expressing the love to Mat Ashur, to Assyria. In the course of acculturation, we see, for instance, many Arameans, especially those holding high social status, chose to give Assyrian names to their children. This is Assyrianization, not Aramization. This is Assyrianization. They chose, perhaps for the benefit of prestige or as to express a social status. A certain captain, it means honored, a court commander active in Kalkhu, Nimrud, reign of Sargon II, whose ethnicity is explicitly marked in a written text as Aramean. Yet, the name in this case is not Aramean, it's Assyrian. See, Arameans who were deported to Assyria or came themselves willingly for work, probably, they started giving their kids Assyrian names. But we see this process also in the reverse. So we see Assyrian names with Aramaic patronymics. Qurdi Issar from Ashur, son of Il-Ma'di. Il-Ma'di, this is Aramaic deity, not Assyrian. But the name of the son is Qurdi Issar. Qurdi Issar. Qurdi Issar, it means Ishtar. This is the Neo-Assyrian form of Ishtar, Issar. So Qurdi Issar. Marduk Nadin Akhe, from the reign of Adad-Nirari III, son of Bar-Il. Look here, the name of the father is Aramaic, but the son is named Assyrian son. Sil Issar, or Sil Ishtar, from Kalkhu, son of Bakhianu. Bakhianu, in modern Assyrian we say Bakhiana, crier, a person who cries. Ashur Balasu Iqbi, from the city of Assur, during the reign of Sargon II, son of the goldsmith Abi Suri. This is dad's name is Aramaic, son name is Assyrian, with Assyrian pantheon, or god. Nabushul Mu'erish, his mother carries the Aramaic name Ba'ia. This is a guy carrying Assyrian name, but his mom's name, which is only mom's name is mentioned, is Aramaic. We also find the exact reverse process, either individuals bearing Aramaic names with Assyrian patronymics, such as Mati from Assur, reign of Ashurbanipal, son of Sili Ashur. So the dad carrying Assyrian name, the son Aramaic name. This is sometimes Assyriologists call this process Assyrio-Aramaic amalgam. Yeah, but we don't know what Sili Ashur's dad's name. Probably Sili Ashur's dad's name was Assyrian or Aramaic. Aramaic, I mean. Sair Nuri from Assur, late reign of Ashurbanipal, son of Adimati Ilani, and so on. Then we look here how the Assyrians, which names the Assyrians used during the, for example, 19th century. I'm talking about Assyrians even in northwestern Iran, southeastern Turkey, and North Assyria, which is Iraq. So they use these names: Adday, Achiqar, Amanuel, Baba, Baruta, Cherry, which is my family name, which, by the way, in Assyrian, this means the season autumn, fall season. Dadishu, Dincha, Ishu, Kanun, Kena, Khnanishu, Khoshaba, Khoshibu, Khziran, Narsei, Nimu, Nisan, Odishu, Rehana, Shalita, Surma, Sorishu, Yadida, Yelda, Yaru. So for these names, we can see, for example, Cherry, Kanun, Nisan, Khziran, Yaru. These are all names of seasons or months. And Khoshabu, Khoshibu, when a kid, if it was a girl born on Sunday, we used to call it Khoshibu. The guy, Khoshaba. These are modern practices of name giving for Assyrians. By the way, these are levies, Assyrian levies with the British Army in Iraq, and that Sergeant Rehana Cherry, my grandpa, who became Officer Rehana Cherry. And these are Assyrians wearing traditional Assyrian dress because they were taking a leave to go to their families. But what I have seen, I have noticed that many family names, which usually family name with us or Middle Eastern people, is the grandpa's name, is given to the family. We see now there's a lot of names, nobody touched them, nobody tried to explain them, do research on them. But we use them actually, not now, but they are still kept in the name of families. For example, Olu, Attu, Badu, Barhu, Bashibu, Bazu, Betu, Birku, Budu, Bukku, Buzu, Chalu, Chammu, Dallu, Gamru, Gisu, and they all ends with U. Sounds like ancient. But this needs really to be analyzed and researched to see what is the background, what's the etymology behind these names. And after the fall of Assyria and during the Christian era, Assyrians became Christians, and they started using other names, biblical names, from the Old Testament and New Testament. So we can see many Hebrew names used by even Assyrians today, which is the influence from the Bible. Abraham, which is Abraham, Benjamin, Daniel, David, Eramiah, Harun, Hawil, Ishaq, Israel, even Israel. We have name Israel in Iraq, imagine. So it's dangerous, but we have a man called Israel. Hezekiah, Leah, Martha, my dad's name is Martha, Maryam, Moshe, Qain, Shimon, Simon, Shlimun, Solomon, Shmael, Yoshia, Yonan, Jonah, Yosef, Zechariah, my dad's name, Zadok, Sarah, which is, we have Sarah. Yeah, and we can see, like name of Zechariah, they have the Yehovah in the name of God, Yehovah in the name. Yeah. Then we have also Persian names, because we are not isolated. We live among different people, so we usually, as every nation, we take and give. So we have Persian names, especially for Assyrians living in Iran. Some of them migrated to Assyria, Iraq. We have Aghajan, Akhshirish, Babajan, Bahram, Bejan, Daryawish, Hurmis, Homer, Kurish, Praydun, Rustam, Tamras. And what's interesting, 3 of the names are Persian kings: Cyrus, Kurish, Darius, Akhshirish. And we have Kurish, we have a very renowned Assyrian author from last century. His name was Benjamin Kurish. Some Kurdish name also. We have Bayan, Chaushin, green-eyed, Jihan, Jiwan, Khanzada, Khatune, Rasho, Ropak, Shivan, Soran, Juanita. Greek names which came through Bible: Andreus, Aeneas, Athanasius, Bacchus, Dakianus, Georgis, Paulus, Silvanus, Stephanus, Timotheus, Kyriakos, Theodoros. We have men called by these names. Of course, they took it from the New Testament. Arabic names, this is specifically known among Assyrians in the plain area around Nineveh. Assyrians in these cities of Al-Qush, Baghdad, Tezcopa, Bartalla, Batnaya. They started during 60s and 70s giving Arabic names to their kids because many were migrating to Baghdad to find jobs, and it was actually easier for them not to be persecuted or discriminated against, so they gave their kids Arabic names, unfortunately. So we have Batul, Imad, Fatin, Habib, Hanna, Hani, Khalid, Nabila, Qusay, Ra'ad, Salam, Samir. And then, of course, you saw the Assyrian levies. When the British came to Iraq, many Assyrians took British English names and gave to their children. For example, Charles, Christina, Edward, Flora, Francis, George, Gilbert, Jacqueline, James, Johnny, Juliet, Linda, and similar. But this is very natural. I mean, each nation takes and gives, of course. This picture is recent years. It represent the organization called Gishra, which means a bridge. They called Gishra. This organization started planning homeland trip to Assyria, northern Iraq, which is our homeland, ancestral land. So these are almost the entirety of them are Assyrians from diaspora. They are born in diaspora. And that is Dr. Zack Cherry, which is sitting there. She went there last year, but she is wearing the Al-Qush traditional costume. Yeah. So now it's for the last almost 25, 30 years, the Assyrians organized the Neo-Assyrian festival carnival in the city of Nuhadra or city of Erbil. So many Assyrian youth who are born in diaspora try their best to join, to get to know their homeland, their cousins, their families, to look at the Mat Ashur, Assyria, to get acquainted, simply. So now, from the 70s on, we can see a renaissance taking place in Assyrian name giving. So we can see from the 70s, and this is for the love of Assyria, their history, and also to resist persecution, to confirm their ethnic identity. So they started giving names like Nila, Nisha, Nahira, Chlapel, Keshira, Ashuram, Oyana, Shamiram, Forat, Nahrin, Atur, Arbella, Arbelina. I composed this name. And I wrote a song by name Arbelina. Now the name is very popular. Arbelina, Urnina, Ashurina, Aturina, different versions. Edessa, city of Edessa, in Anatolia. Brunel, Elbrun, Elbra, Umta, Berola, Kara, Sirhaddun, Asr Haddun, two versions of Asr Haddun, Asr Akkadina, Larissa, Bahra, Brael, Akara, Sharbel, Marel, Ashuram, Banel, Qnita, Kinara, Keshira, Marganita, Shana, and another version is Shena, name of the Shena. Shena, it means peace. Ushana, it means a hive of bees, which gives honey. And Nahrain, Nahira, Damel, Elmar, Berta, Brita, Nohadra, Atra, Shara, your sister Shara, we have Shara, which means festival. And Nohadra, city of northern Assyria, which is called Dahak, codified by Dahak. Atra, Shara, Diana, Ituta, Hidra, Quyama. These are, Assyrians started using these names since 70s and onwards. Here we have also Assyrian kids wearing Assyrian costumes. In Iraq, they celebrate each year a day for the national customs. So Assyrians kids and youth, they wear their Assyrian modern, not modern like the several last centuries Assyrian customs from different villages and cities. And this is actually a picture of a school. And the majority of these kids are now named ancient Assyrian names. So they are using Adat, Alikpani. Alikpani is abbreviation of Ashur Alikpani. Amaril, Amel, An, Anabel, Anail, Anubel, Arbail, Asharit, Ashur, Ashuraya, Ashurban, Ashurdan, Ashureta, Assyria, Atamar, Banipal, Bel, Belani, Beldan, Belet, Belshar, Birta, Dari. Dari, it means everlasting. It was named Dari Bel. This is abbreviation. Enkido, Enlil, Esagila, my daughter, Dr. Esagila. Esagil. Actually, when we come to the pronunciation, we know now it's Esangil, the real Sumerian name, with Ng, Esangil. Ishara, Inanna, Ishtar, Karmles, city of Karmulissu, yeah? And the villages now, the city is called Karmles also. Larsa, Lemur, abbreviation of Lemur Ishtar, supplication, may I see the goddess Ishtar. Nabu, Naid, Nasrpal, Nergal, Ninve, Ninlil, Ninorta, Nirari, Nursin, Ramat, Rimani, Sinshar, and Ubalit. And the names, as I said, they were sometimes compound, like there is names which consist of single name, not a compound of many words. But usually the names were compound, especially when you have the name of a god in it. So Esagila Ramat, we look at this. This is symbol for referring that the following coming is a feminine name. Esagila Ramat. Esagila Ramat, which means the beloved of the temple Esagila. Yeah. And we have also another name, symbol of feminine, Shar Rat Ninua Ki. This is the terminative, but it means Sharat Ninua, the queen of Nineveh, which was the goddess Ishtar. Another way of naming in modern Assyrian, not modern times, but it's at least several centuries, we see Assyrians use this combination: bet, 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 D bet, D bet, 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 bet. For example, George bet Athanus. It means George who belongs to the family of Athanus. Bet is the Akkadian word betu, and Aramaic beta, and Arabic bait. Ogin bet Samu, these are known Assyrian singers. Ogin bet Samu, Yonathan bet Kulya, it was a politician in Iran. Shamasha Georgis D bet Binyamin Ashir. Actually, it should be D bet, belonging to the family of Dbet. Dinkhat Bemajje, my family name from my mom's side, Dinkhat Bemajje. Judge Dbe Nasimu, Emmanuel Beyonan, singer, he's with us today here. And Ashur Bet Sergis, Shleimun Bet Shmuel, Robin Bet Shmuel, and you have Peter Bet David now, very well known in the States. So this is a pattern that is used by some Assyrians in their personal names. So I conclude with saying Happy Assyrian New Year to you, and I appreciate your listening, and thank you for your attention.